today we are going to do a very powerful tapping, and this is what we do. If you are new here to my tap and talks, then what we do is flow tapping, which we just tap the whole time. So this is incredibly powerful because even if you're not working on anything specific, it will help to clear whatever's going on in the background, because your subconscious is responsible for 92 to 96% of your results. So your subconscious is always working nonstop, and it's working on the basis of your beliefs, whether they're supporting beliefs or they're sabotaging beliefs. It is your subconscious that is determining your results. So if you're not getting the results that you want in life, with your health, with your relationships, with money, with your career, then there's something going on back here that's freaking out and blocking you. Now, the reason that we do this continual tapping is because even if you haven't specifically identified what that block is, this is still working on the central nervous system. It's still going in and releasing stuff that you're not even aware what it's releasing. So this is why we do the continual tapping while I blabber on for the next half hour or however long we are here for. So if you don't want to do this, if you're in a public place or if your hands get tired or whatever, then there is another way that you can do this, and that is with doing this. So all you're doing is tapping on the sides of the next fingernails, next to the cuticles of your fingernails. And you just do this, and you can do this in a public place. You can do this anywhere. You can do this while you're walking, exercising. You could even, so long as it's safe, you could even sort of do this with one hand while you're driving, and it will have an effect. I'm not sure that it's as significant as when you do this, but it does have an effect, and it's very, very convenient. So make sure that you are tapping with me the whole time we are on today, because it will release stuff. And specifically, we're going to be working on fear of failure. Now, fear of failure is massive. We have this stigma attached to failure that is so pervasive and stops so many people from achieving their results. Now, often how fear of failure shows up is inability, or a perceived inability, to start something. So you'll come up with excuses like, I don't have enough time, or it's too hard, I don't know how, I don't have enough money. So these excuses more often than not mean, I'm afraid that if I try this, I will fail, so it is safer for me to not even try. A fear of success often shows up as somebody who starts things but doesn't follow through, but doesn't finish them. And you know that the fortune is always in the follow through. If you don't follow through, if you don't finish the task, how are you ever going to achieve the result? So, and the vast majority of people, if not everybody, has a certain amount of a fear of failure. But as you know, as I keep mentioning, that the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that those who succeed don't let their fears, their doubts, their limiting beliefs run the show. They go, okay, thanks for the sharing. Let's go anyway. I'm going to give this a shot. And that's got to be your default. So you have a default. You are either defaulting to, it's not safe, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, or you're defaulting to, I'm going to give this a crack, I'm going to give it my best, and I'm just going to see what happens, and I'm not going to allow this self-doubt, this fear to get in my way and to control my life. The moment fear stops controlling your life, do you know how liberating that is? It's like the world is at your feet when fear stops controlling the show. I don't care if you don't know how. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Make it irrelevant. It doesn't matter if, oh my goodness, what if this doesn't work out? And if it doesn't work out? Okay, if it doesn't work out, I will figure out why it didn't work out and I'll try again. Or I will analyze the result and I'll look at the action that I took and I'll see if I'm in alignment. I'll analyze where I'm out of alignment. I'll look at what's going on in my subconscious. I'll do the internal work. It's always looking for solutions and knowing that failure is just feedback. Failure is just feedback. It's not a terminal illness. Failure is just, meh, didn't work. Okay, let's go again. Do you know that Walt Disney? Walt Disney with Disneyland went to over 100 financiers back in the early 1900s to get the money to start Disneyland. And over 100 financiers turned him down. He found one who said, "Your idea is absolutely crazy. It's crazy. And it's just that crazy that I like it. And I'm going to take the risk." It was a big risk. Nobody had done it before. So it wasn't a proven model. And you know what banks are like? They're like, show us the stats, show us what you got. Or you need a whole lot of collateral, because if it fails, we're just going to take everything you got. So, but he found a financier who said, you know what? You're crazy. I'm crazy. Let's do it. And look at where Disneyland is today. Multiple locations around the world, making billions of dollars, or has made billions of dollars over the years. And this is what it's like. I don't know how many, but I know that the Harry Potter movies, what's her alias? Anyway, see, shocking names, not good. But the author of the Harry Potter movies, of the Harry Potter books, she's now a billionaire because of her stories that she wrote. Publishers turned her down. Multiple publishers turned down Harry Potter. How would you be if you were the publisher who turned down Harry Potter? Yeah, think about that mistake and that decision, and going to bed thinking about that every night. So, there's always a risk. There's always a risk that you might make the wrong decision one way or t'other, but it's being willing to go all in and make the most of it and back yourself anyway. Can't remember the exact quote, but Elon Musk said something to the effect of, even if an idea has a high risk of failure, do it because it's worth the attempt. Brian Tracy, attempt the impossible in order to prove your work. So the outcome obviously has to be worth the risk. Don't take risks that you're not willing to suffer the potential consequences, because there's always the potential for failure. But if you're not afraid to fail, guess what? You'll try a whole lot more. You'll try a whole lot harder. You'll try so many things that you set yourself up to succeed. This is how you set yourself up to succeed, is you just try and try and try and try until something works. You've got to be willing to fail. So I'm going to get you to do a little bit of work around this, because if you're afraid to fail, then you've given failure a meaning. So what does it mean to you to fail? What does it mean? If I fail, it means blah. What comes up for you? It means I'll feel humiliated. If I fail, it means I'm a failure. See, if you're tapping while I'm talking and this resonates with you, then you can tap and go, "Oh, if I fail, I'm a failure." And you're releasing at the same time. Pretty cool, huh? So keep tapping. So actually repeat after me. So if you've come up with something, then you can use that and you can tap on that. But we'll we'll tap on some common ones, right? If I fail, it means I'm a failure. If I fail, it means I'll feel ashamed. If I fail, then I'm a failure, and then I'm a loser. Nobody wants to feel like a loser. Nobody wants to be friends with a loser. Nobody likes a failure. Failures get humiliated. People who fail get put down, judged, criticized. I can't risk failure. I can't risk the shame of failure. Failure will destroy my self-confidence. Failure will destroy my self-esteem. I can't fail. I can't risk failure. So much shame. I remember the last time I failed. It felt really bad. There are consequences if I fail. If I fail, there's negative consequences. There's too much risk. I don't want to fail. This fear of failure. I destroy, uncreate, and delete this fear of failure. I destroy, uncreate, and delete being afraid to fail. I destroy, uncreate, and delete being afraid to fail. I destroy, uncreate, and delete this fear of failure. I destroy, uncreate, and delete this fear of humiliation. I destroy, uncreate, and delete this fear of shame. I destroy, uncreate, and delete the fear of being humiliated. I destroy, uncreate, and delete the stigma attached to failure. I destroy, uncreate, and delete. If I fail, I'm a failure. I destroy, uncreate, and delete. If I fail, I destroy, uncreate, and delete this fear of failure. Okay, keep tapping. Now, whatever you recognized when you said failure means, or if I fail, it means, what does it mean about you? What does it mean about success? What does it mean about your attempt? What does it mean about your future? I'm doomed to fail. Tap on that. I'm doomed to fail. Everything I try, I fail. I'm such a failure. Does that feel heavy or what? I'm such a failure. So, whatever meaning you've given to failure, do you think it's time to let it go? Because nobody likes to fail. Nobody wants to fail. But the only way you can ever succeed is to go all in. And the only failure is the failure to participate. Seriously, the only failure really is the failure to participate. Seriously, if you try nothing and you get to the end of your life and just imagine lying on your deathbed thinking, I really didn't give it my best shot. I played it safe. And where did it get me? Not very far. Now, obviously, if you're a brain surgeon, then the risks are pretty high. And I wouldn't be trying anything novel in the middle of a surgery unless, oh, sorry, I've got something on my teeth. Hold on a second. Oh, that's embarrassing. The joys of life, going live. Glory be. See? Yeah, that's a bit embarrassing, but hey, I'm still here. I'm still doing it. So, if I do something like, something silly, then I'll feel embarrassed. Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed right now. So I got something on my teeth, but hey, whatever. It's not catastrophic. I'm pretty sure you're not going to just, you know, hate me because I had something on my teeth. I'll get over it. It is what it is. So let's do some tapping on some positive things. So once you've identified what your fear of failure is actually about, because your fear of failure is not just a fear of failure, there's something underlying that, as we've already identified: the shame, the embarrassment, the humiliation, feeling like a loser, the negative consequences if you fail, all that stuff. Okay. So that's another one. Feeling like you're worthless. If I fail, I'll feel worthless. And that's actually not the consequence of failing. That's actually you're already feeling a lack of self-worth and a lack of self-belief and a lack of self-confidence. It's just that if you fail, it will feel like another nail in the coffin. It will feel like that's another that's just a reinforcement of the original belief that you're not worth it, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve it. But none of that's true. None of it's true. So let's tap on some positive and just say after me while you're tapping, I choose to embrace failure. I choose to know failure is part of the process. I choose to know that failure is inevitable when I go after my dreams, but it's only temporary. It's just a learning. Every time I fail, I learn something. In order to succeed, I must embrace failure. Failure is really uncomfortable. Everyone knows that. But I choose to embrace failure anyway. I value my goals and dreams so much that I'm willing to risk temporary failure. I value and love myself so much that I'm willing to risk temporary failure in order to pursue my dreams and goals. Failure doesn't mean anything about me. All it means is I gave something a go and it didn't work out. I'll learn something and then I'll try again. And if I fail enough, then I will eventually succeed. Accumulated failure eventually leads to success. Failure is necessary to succeed. It's an essential part of the process. Failure means learning. Failure means growth. Failure means discovery. Failure means I get stronger. Failure makes me even more determined. Failure is just temporary. Failure is necessary. Failure makes me stronger. I learn through failure. I expand through failure. I become a better version of me through failure. Every failure gets me closer to success. Every failure teaches me a valuable lesson. Every time I fail, I get closer to success. So I embrace failure with every part of my being. I let go of all the emotional meaning I've given to failure. I let go of all the stigma around failure. If people want to judge me, that's their problem. I let go of all my investment in other people's opinions. I let go of what anybody else thinks about me. I refuse to be held back by other people's opinions. I refuse to let the judgment of others stop me from going after my dreams. I refuse to let failure stop me. I refuse to fail to participate in going after my goals and dreams. Because the only failure is the failure to participate. And I will not let that define my life. So just keep tapping and know that nothing can define you. Nothing can define you. It is your judgments and perceptions that you allow to believe that something or someone or a situation or an event or a characteristic or a job or a relationship defines you, that it controls your future. The only thing that controls you is the thing that you allow to control you. That's it. Nothing can control you unless you allow it to. So let go of the stigma around failure. Now, before we do a final little positive tapping for today, I just want to let you know that a couple of things. Firstly, another free resource. I have just created a free download that you can get. If you want this, then you need to type in the chat that you want this, and just type in free me from my blocks. Type in free me from my blocks or free. If you just type in free, then I will send you this free resource. But it's a list of 600 common blocks that people have to money, wealth, abundance, business, success, judgments about rich and wealthy people, the common kind of themes that get stuck in people's brains. And whilst it's not, I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of possibilities of different decisions, limiting decisions and beliefs that you've installed in your brain for whatever reason that could be blocking you. But these are a list of over 600 or 600 common ones that you can go through, and you can tick off any that you kind of see that you feel, oh yeah, I feel that one, and then you rate it. So when you get the download, you can have a look through the ones about money or whatever it might be, and then you put a number beside it. If one resonates with you, then you just put a number beside it on how um, on how intense it is. And then what you do is you think about what's the opposite. So, and you will probably find as you're doing that, you'll probably think of ones that aren't in there, but the ones that are in there will trigger a recognition of, oh, actually, it's not, it's a slight adjustment to that, but this is a belief that's blocking me from being wealthy or blocking me from being successful, or this is a belief that I have about rich people. So if you want that, type free in the chat, in the comments below, and I will send you the link to download it. So you just have to put in your name and email address, and then I will send you the free download. And that's going to be a very powerful resource that you can refer to over and over and over and over to be able to help you to identify your blocks. Because once you identify your blocks, then you have the power to release those blocks. If you don't know what they are, how can you clear them out? Now, in the same vein, before we do the final positive tapping today, if you would like my help, then I have a powerful process called the Wealth Blueprint Breakthrough Analysis, which is a paid service, and you fill out a form that is over 40 questions. And from that, I identify the top 3 blocks that you have to money, wealth, and abundance. And then I provide for you a video that gives you tapping sequences and other exercises. And I also, from the feedback and what you fill out on that form, I also give you a unique strategic action plan that is aligned with your passions, with what you're here to do in the world, with your gifts, with your talents, so with your soul purpose. So if you want access to that, then I will put, actually the link is already in the description. It is the Wealth Blueprint Breakthrough Analysis. And I will, you can register for that. It's at a very special price right now. That will not last for long. It's actually a very intensive process for me to be able to record the video and do all that. So it's at a really, really good price right now. It is like, the value is hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and it's actually worth several coaching sessions. So yeah, if you want that, then check the link in the description. So final tapping on the fear of failure. Now, the beauty of the fact that you've been still tapping is that you have been still clearing, even though you haven't been focusing on anything specific. The fact that you're tapping means you're clearing. Every time you're tapping, you're clearing. That's what flow tapping is all about. So let's do a final positive tapping. I am ready to go all in on my goals and dreams. I refuse to let failure hold me back. I choose to fail my way forward and go all in on my dreams. I look forward to failing my way to success. I love the fact that every failure is a step in the right direction. Doesn't matter how big the failure, I know that failure is the pathway to success. Because failure teaches me something valuable every time. I'm excited to fail my way forward to success. I'm excited to go all in on my dreams. I eat failure for breakfast. I refuse to let fear of failure stop me. I love that I get to fail my way forward. I love that I am bigger than any failure I will ever experience. I love that I have a strength of character, that I refuse to let fear of failure to get in my way. I choose to fail my way forward. I love that the more failure I experience, the closer I get to success. I love that failure does not define me. Every time I fail, I know I'm closer to success. And all my past failures, they have just been a part of making me who I am today. They have been setting me up for success all this time. Because failure is essential. Failure is just feedback. I love failing my way forward. I love the learnings I get from failing. I'm excited to fail my way forward. I'm excited to embrace the learnings when I fail. Because failure is not a terminal illness. And I am a success machine because I'm willing to embrace failure and fail my way forward. So you can keep tapping in these last couple of minutes. I'm just going to share with you one final story, and that is about the great Elon Musk and how, there's many stories, but this one in particular just really hits home for me. And that is that when he and his partner, his business partner, had sold PayPal to Google for $100 million, and he invested that $100 million, or his share of that $100 million, in Tesla and in SpaceX. And his SpaceX team. So Elon is incredibly good. He's a genius in his own right, but he's also incredibly good at bringing together experts. That's one of his superpowers, is bringing together the right people to build a team to achieve a specific outcome, because he knows he can't do it on his own. And he told his engineers and his entire production team at SpaceX that he had enough money, investment money, to build 3 rockets. And it's not just his money, it's also tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of investors' money, right? So there's a lot at stake. A lot at stake. Just imagine taking tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars and pouring it into something that has a high risk of failure. And that's Elon Musk's kind of modus operandi. If it's worth it, then even if it has a high risk of failure, do it anyway, because it will be worth the potential outcome if it succeeds. This is what he did with SpaceX. Nobody had ever done it before. Look at what Elon Musk has done. He has achieved so many things that nobody has ever achieved before. High risk of failure in the pursuits that he goes after. And anyway, so first rocket failed. Second rocket failed. So they've got one chance left. Now imagine what they're learning. He knows that every time they launch a rocket, there's a high risk of failure, particularly the first one. Tens of million dollars just poof, gone. But there's tens of millions of dollars worth of learning in that. So they go back to the drawing board. Okay, where did it fail? Why did it fail? How do we do it differently next time? Attempt two, fail. Shit, we've only got enough money left for one more attempt. Third attempt, fail. Holy crap. So, and obviously, this is, huge setback. And you can see when you watch Elon's face and these things don't work. Yeah, it's like, uh-oh, what do I tell my investors now? So he goes, back, he does crunches some numbers, maybe he gets some more investment money, but he goes back to his team and he goes, one more. I've got enough. I've managed to scrape up enough for one more attempt. If this fails, we are done. All these millions of dollars that we have poured into this, all this time, energy, and effort, wasted, worthless. Maybe not worthless, but we're done. The company's done. We can't go anymore. One more try. They tried one more time and it worked. But they put everything on the line, you know? So it's those kinds of people who advance the human condition. And no matter what your opinion of someone, at least admire their ability to go all in on something and give it their absolute best and risk it all, because there are very few humans in this world who are able to do that, who have the capacity, the emotional and mental resilience to do that. So I hope this has really helped you to clear your fear of failure today. I know it has. I know it has, because this technique is so freaking amazing. If you want that free resource, then remember to type free in the chat. And if you want the wealth blueprint breakthrough analysis, where I actually give you a quick breakthrough video, then you can find that link in the description below, and until next time, keep tapping. If you have appreciated and enjoyed this and you've gotten loads out of it, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, put a comment in the comments below to help the algorithm to push this out so more people get to experience this amazing technique. And show me some love. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I will be back next week. We do these tap and talks. I'll stop tapping now. We do these tap and talks twice a week, and I always schedule it. And next time I will try to make sure I get the technology right. Thank you loads for being with me, either live or watching the replay. Until next time, take care and keep tapping.